So now, it doesn't refer only to our lives, our body and mind. The whole universe, the same thing. It applies to everything in the world. That is how you see the times change, ages change, human nature changes, lifetime changes. Now there are times when human being lives easily 1,000 years, or 10,000, or even 50,000. It goes on, and the human form changes, human society changes, the way of thinking and acting changes. They create different civilizations altogether. So this kind of change goes on everywhere. That is called the law of impermanence, anicca. Change inherent in everything. Whether in inward life, inward world, or outward world, anywhere. It is change stops only in one place, that is in Nibbana. Nibbana is not subject to impermanence or change. That is eternal peace and happiness. That is the nature, and that is the goal of spiritual life. As soon as you attain that, you become an enlightened one. You wake up to the ultimate reality. You become an awake, an enlightened one, to the ultimate reality, and you are released from the bonds of samsaric existence, which is characterized by change, a dynamic change all the time. So now, the Buddha recalled the story. I will give in brief, it's quite a longish Jataka. Jataka means the past, the story of Buddha's past lives. 552 Jatakas are there. Buddha recalled them one after the other, on various occasions during his 45 years of mission of compassion. So Bhagavan, whenever an occasion arose where he saw that the person has a potential for spiritual transformation, for entering into the stream that leads directly to Nibbana, to the transcendental state of freedom. So, then he would recall if any association happened to be there. So in this case, these 5 monks were, when he was a bodhisattva and a prince in the kingdom of Varanasi, and his father was known as Brahmadatta, a Chakravarti Maharaja. At that time, lifetime was very different, and they had tremendous powers. Powers of locomotion, all kinds of powers they had, human beings. So now, this king had 100 sons, because he was a Chakravarti. And the Bodhisattva happened to be the last prince, the 100th one. Now at that time there was no Buddha Sasana, no dispensation of a supremely enlightened Buddha as we are privileged to have now. Our Bhagavan Buddha, Lord Gautama, his dispensation continues for 5,000 years. Human years. Human year is very different from the celestial year or the Deva year of different realms of divine world, divine realms. Time, the order of time changes everywhere. So now, as the 100th prince, at that time, though the Buddha was, there was no Buddha's teaching available at that time, but the Pacceka Buddha, that was the period when a large number of a community of hermit Buddhas. These are also said self-enlightened beings, like our supremely enlightened one, but not having the same power and the ability and all that sort of thing. And they arise in a group. So these Pacceka Buddhas, they live in the Himalayas, and once a day they come out for their Pindapata in the populated areas. Anywhere, any part of India they will go. They will fly, alight somewhere nearby, go in, do the Pindapata and teach there during that time and help those who have the potential for perfecting their spiritual perfections, parami, etc. So, at that time, some Pacceka Buddhas happened to, hermit Buddhas they are called, they happened to visit the palace. The king was very devoted to them and he requested them to come and have Pindapata, alms meal every day. So they used to come. They say, okay, whenever we have occasion, we'll come. And more or less, often they would come. So, and this young prince was assigned the responsibility to look after, to see that as soon as they come to the palace, to receive them with great reverence, wash their feet, have the feet dried up and take them inside and make them sit, and you see, with all reverence they would then offer the dana and so on. So he had a bunch of attendants to do all that, and he supervised, and he himself also engaged himself in doing that. So one day the thought occurred to him. He said, look, I am the last prince. Will I ever have the chance to become a ruler? I have got 99 brothers above me. What a pity, I am the last one. So, he said, let me ask the venerable, this hermit holy ones, Buddhas. So he received them with great devotion and showed all respect and all that, and with his own hand served them, and after the meal, as they sat down and gave him a discourse, they invariably gave a Dhamma discourse after the alms meal. The Buddhas did that, and even monks do that now. So now, he said, Lord, I have a request, Lord. Kindly do favor me by answering my question. He said, yes, go on, Prince, tell. He said, this thought has occurred to me, I will never be able to become a ruler, and what is this? I am the last, of the 100. Will I ever have a chance to become a king? Lord, will you kindly, with your knowledge of omniscience, you are omniscient people, you know everything about the past and future. And now, and so kindly open up the truth. So the leader of the Pacceka Buddhas of that group, they said, yes, Prince, you can become a king provided these things happen. These conditions prevail. Everything in life is conditioned based upon various factors. So, he said, yes, Lord, what are those? He said, in 7 days' time, if you can, arrange to go to Takshashila, several thousand miles, maybe a couple of thousand or whatever from there, or hundreds. So, that was in Gandhara country, that was part of the subcontinent, and he knew the geography very well. 7 days, if you can reach there, and you will have to pass through tremendous days. There is a big, big forest before you reach the city of Takshashila. And if you pass through that forest, the forest is infested by these yakinis. They have very beautiful villa, beautiful, settlement.